I wanted to do a real quick video, and I've titled it kind of critical thinking. And the whole concept behind this is the fact that this is the reasoning why they want to change the curriculum of the children nowadays. They don't want the children, and really don't want anybody, to have what's considered critical thinking skills, or in more layman's terms, they don't want you to use your common sense. And this is why you hear so many people talk about, people perhaps from my generation, when we talk about younger generations, where we say that common sense is not common anymore. So what I have here, and again, I'm not an artist, but is a basic depiction of the Earth. And what I have is the continent of South America. This is a depiction of South America, and this is a depiction of Africa. And what I did, I don't remember the exact locations, but I took two specific locations, and the reason I chose these were because they were extremely close in alignment with the equator on the earth, which is the center, was considered the center of the earth, the largest area of circumference. And the reason I chose this was because it's been well measured. And these are measurements you can look up. Anybody can look up for themselves. Uh, but the reason I chose this, it's been clearly measured and stated that at that area, at the equator section of the world, that the Earth spins at 1,037 miles per hour. Very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our common sense and very common math skills, elementary math skills at that, basic addition and subtraction math skills, to plot a trip from this location in Brazil to this location in Africa. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a 747 jet. And we're going to use that specific jet because it is considered the fastest commercial airline that you can use to travel in these days. And it travels at approximately 659 miles per hour. That is the cruising speed of a 747 jet. Now, the distance between these locations that I chose was 9,382 miles. That was the distance from this location, from that point to that point, point A to point B, if you want to look at it from a geometrical perspective. Now, what I want to point out here is, for those of you who have taken, let's say, college algebra, most college algebra professors, when you find out, when you recheck your problem and find out it's wrong, they tell you to look at the most basic parts of the problem, because that's usually where you made your mistake. Basic addition and subtraction is where the mistake is usually made. But this is also reiterated when you reach the highest levels of accounting. So when I was in my higher levels, my master's level accounting classes, one of the first classes, that what we were taught was that when you find a problem in your accounting, you want to always and first go to the most basic uh, solutions. It's a very similar concept to what they teach in algebra. Look at the basic math, because that's usually where you're going to find the mistake at in your numbers. And so again, this is even taught in the highest levels of accounting, in the master level accounting classes. Always go to your basic math, your addition and subtraction, because that's normally where the problem is, where the mistake was made. So again, we're going to take the 747 jet. at a cruising speed of 659 miles per hour, and we're going to travel a distance of 9,382 miles. And that jet, the 747, its normal cruising altitude is approximately 35,000 feet, which is approximately or roughly 6 miles in the atmosphere. And I want to remind you that we know from our scientists, our science today tells us that at the equator, at these points of location, that the Earth spins at 1,037 miles per hour. But this 747, which is the fastest commercial jet airliner, only travels at 659 miles per hour. So they tell us that the Earth is traveling at this speed and it's spinning in this direction. The Earth is spinning in this direction at 1,037 miles per hour. Now we're going to take this 747 jet that only travels, that can only go up to a cruising speed of 6,059 miles per hour. That is 378 miles slower than the rotation of the Earth. And when you reach that, when you leave the Earth, you have left the surface of that spin. And the higher you get, the further away you get. So you're cruising 6 miles approximately, roughly, above the rotation, the 1,037 mile per hour rotation of the globe, the circular Earth that they say we live on. 1,037 miles per hour that this thing is spinning. And we're going to take a jet that only travels at 659 miles per hour, and we're going to go in the same direction. We're going to travel in the same direction as that the Earth spins in, to go from one location, point A, to the next, point B. We're going to travel that, and if you map that out, if you map that trip out, you'll get an approximate time, and it varies because you have to get to the higher points of the atmosphere, the 35,000 feet. But roughly, your destination time of arrival will take you anywhere between 12 hours and some change and 14 hours and some change. This is what your mapping will tell you. This is what your computer technology will tell you. Well, this would be very accurate only if we were living on a surface that did not have this spin that spins at 1,037 miles per hour, as they say. Because if this thing travels at 1,037 miles per hour, as they say, and we're taking a jet that only travels at 659 miles per hour, we would actually never be able to go from this point to this point without going backwards all the way around the globe. We would have to actually go backwards, and we would be traveling backwards at a speed of 378 miles per hour. Basic math. Very basic, because the Earth is spinning at 1,037 miles per hour. We're only traveling at 659 miles per hour, so we would actually be going backwards at 378 miles per hour. But they will have you believe that you can go from this point to this point in a jet that travels at only 659 miles per hour, and you'll be traveling against a rotation at or in the same direction of a rotation that is going 378 miles faster than you're even traveling. So once you reached that 35,000 feet, you would actually should see this continent pass in front of you. You would actually be moving backwards as far as it relates to how fast this globe, this round ball that spins that they claim we live on, we should actually be going backwards. We should watch, once we reach their 35,000 feet, you should see that continent pass underneath you, because it's moving 378 miles faster than the jet is traveling. But yet they will have you believe you can leave this destination in a jet that only goes this fast, as the Earth travels that fast, and they will have you believe that you can still reach that destination somewhere between 12 to 14 hours later at a distance of 9,382 miles. That is impossible. That is mathematically, and not just mathematically impossible. This is common sense. This is very, very simple critical thinking skills. The most simplistic critical thinking skills that anyone in grade school should be able to understand. This would be, you could put this into a word problem in any young child that I would estimate any sixth grader should be able to understand and say, hey, this does not make any sense. This is impossible to be traveling at 659 miles per hour and expect to go a distance that outrun a distance of something that is going 1,000. This would be just completely impossible, but yet this is what they want everybody to believe. And now you understand why they have dumbed down America. Now you understand why you have so many people. That's why you have prophets nowadays, these self-proclaimed prophets. And it's not just them, it's many people, because they have so blindly followed people that will tell them things like it was Moses that threw down his staff before Pharaoh, because people don't bother to go fact check it for themselves and don't bother to use even their critical thinking skills to check these numbers, to see that these numbers are mathematically impossible. They would have you believe that 659 miles per hour is somehow faster. The only way you could reach this destination in the time that they say, the time that their maps say, is you would have to add all these three numbers. You would have to add the 1,037 with the 659 and the 378. That's how fast your jet would have to be traveling at a speed well above the 1,037 miles per hour that the Earth spins. But yet they want you to believe that a jet traveling only 659 miles per hour can outrun the Earth that is supposedly spinning at 1,037 miles per hour. Common sense, people. Now you understand why they want to dumb down the children and have been dumbing down America and really the world for so long. They do not want you to have critical thinking skills so that you can not be deceived by their lies, as they tell you this is a round Earth that is spinning, a globe that is spinning. They don't want you to know that the Bible is true and everything that the Bible explains about the Earth. They don't want you to believe that. They want you to believe their narrative, that we live on this globe that is spinning out in the middle of space. Common sense, people. Common sense is not common anymore, and now you understand why they don't want you. And of course, this goes to the technology. This is why they want everybody to just Google. Just Google it, is what they tell you. They don't want you to think about it. They just want you to Google a machine and let the machine give you the answers that it gives you, the answers they want you to have. but see that the answers they give you are mathematically